Hey, hello.
Uh,
Haven't seen you for quite some time.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. So how have you been doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so basically this is James. James is from the Hong Kong national Wushu team, who specialize in Nanquan, Nantao, Nankun. Okay, and he's also the gold medalist at the 2018 World Wing Chun Open competition, as well as multiple medalist at the Asian Junior Wushu Championship of 2017. Wow. Okay. What have you been doing recently at home? Especially during this a period whereby we are invaded by the virus. Yeah.
I've just been studying recently because
Mm-hmm.
university has been keeping me quite busy,
Okay.
and I've also been trying to keep fit at home. So just some basic training, whatever I can do, yeah, at home.
Mm. Okay. So basically, all your university work is done at home, right?
Yeah, yeah, we have online classes as well because campus
Mm.
is currently closed. Yeah.
Uh, so is it very boring? Like nowadays, in the past, you can go out, hang out, chill, but now everything you are doing is all at home. Yeah, just confined in your home.
Yeah, it's quite tiring to stare at like a monitor for the whole day, but I guess that's what we all have to deal with right now, and
Yeah.
let's just hope that it goes by quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you currently majoring in school?
Oh, I study in the business school of HKUST, and
Mm.
my major is marketing. Yeah.
Ah, okay. So anybody need to market yourself, you can find James. He can market for you. Okay. So let us find out more about you. Okay. So for our viewers, yeah, they actually want
Sure.
to know a little bit more about you. So we actually have a few questions. So basically,
Yeah.
how did you like started Wushu? This is like the standard question that we always have. So how did you like started Wushu? At what age?
Uh,
Yeah.
okay. So my dad is also a wushu practitioner, but he
Ooh.
does traditional martial arts.
Okay.
So the style he does is Hong Quan. I think
Mm.
that's Honggar in English. So
Mm.
that's one of the types for Southern Fist.
Okay.
And basically, when I was around 5 or 4, that's when I
Yep.
started learning some of the
Mm.
basics of that.
Mm-hmm.
And probably when I was 6, then my training started to be more systematic, where I like really went through
Okay.
what wushu is like right now. So I learned like the
Mm.
basic kicks, the stances, because I had wushu classes in my primary school. So
Mm.
yeah,
Okay. So the first exposure of Wushu for you, it was traditional.
yes, it was. Yeah,
Okay. So after that,
yeah,
you convert to more towards contemporary because of the school
yeah,
training,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So it's the
yep,
same as like in Singapore, in Hong Kong. So basically, for Wushu taught in school, it's actually more towards the contemporary, right?
yeah.
Okay. So it
So
is. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, stuff like Wu Shen and all like the really
Mm.
basic. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So how did when did you realize you actually had a talent in this sport?
Uh, um, so I guess because I had like a prior background already of
Yep.
wushu before I went to like my primary school.
Yep.
So maybe like the teacher at school thought that I had some potential. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, when I was 7, I
Yep.
was invited to the school team. We have like a school wushu team thing.
Okay.
And basically they trained the team to go to like local competitions, and
Mm.
that's sort of
Okay.
when I started like competing in regional competitions. Yeah.
Okay. So it was your coach that identified your talent, not your dad.
No.
Okay, okay, okay. So even though your dad is like always
Yeah.
around you, but he didn't spot that, but
Mhm.
your coach did. Okay, yeah. So it doesn't mean that your dad is a coach. That means the child of the coach will also be a very outstanding athlete. Okay, because for James, the dad didn't spot this his talent. It was actually his coach. Okay, and we have a question that is James from Hong Kong. Yes, he's from Hong Kong. He
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm
sound like
from
he's from
Hong
Hong
Kong.
Kong, right? Yeah, because the because his English is actually very good. Yeah, so I think that's the reason why a lot of them ask. Actually, in the question tab, there's also a lot of questions stating that is James from Hong Kong. Are you sure he's not from the West? Yeah, he's from Hong Kong. Yeah. All right.
No, from Hong Kong.
Okay. So were you like exposed to Nanquan at the start, right at the start, or you were actually training other styles, then gradually convert to Nanquan?
Yeah, that's like the special thing about my journey, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because I jumped straight into Nanquan from
Oh,
like the
okay.
traditional Nanquan into like contemporary Nanquan, which
Okay.
is quite different because you know how most athletes nowadays they start with like regardless of what they do now,
Mm.
either like Tai Chi, Nanquan or Changquan, they would
Mm-hmm.
always go with Changquan first to learn
Yes,
like the
correct.
basic,
Mm.
the kicks and the
Yep.
stances. But yeah, I jumped straight into Nanshan, so that's something that's quite
Ah.
a good
So
thing. And
so
yeah,
so did you had this thought of like trying like Sangchuan stuff before?
I actually tried for like a
No?
really short period.
Okay. So how was it?
Um, wasn't that good because uh, I think it's
Okay.
something to do with like my flexibility. My flexibility isn't that
Mm.
good, and
Okay.
I guess that's why. But in contrast, like my power or my like speed is like better,
Mm.
like in terms of natural talent.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why I just moved straight into Silent Fist instead of
Mm.
trying more
Okay. The
function. Yeah.
Sangchuan stuff. Okay. So basically for this so you look very like gentleman, very kind, very clean. So actually if you like if I were to look at you, right, I wouldn't tell
Yeah.
that okay you're a non-trans specialist because I cannot
Yeah. Yeah.
imagine like you would be like very fierce and aggressive. Yeah, if you tell me
Yeah.
that you do Tai Chi, I will believe also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you got this very calm looking, gentlemanly kind of vibe. Yeah, so
Uh,
I really can't imagine how you change your entire like character when you go to the carpet to do
yeah.
Nanshan.
I feel like that's something a lot of people have told me.
Yeah,
Like, for example, like when I went to Chongqing
yeah,
for a training camp,
yeah,
like on day one, we were basically sent to like the different groups. Like if you do Nanchuan, they'll say, "Oh, this carpet is for Nanchuan,"
yeah, correct.
and then this is for Tai Chi or whatever. And then I
Yes.
told the coach that I'm a Nanchuan athlete, and then she thought I was joking, and then she pointed me to the Tai Chi carpet, so that was quite funny. But I feel like
Mm,
um it doesn't really matter as long as you can express yourself uh, on like in a competition.
yeah,
And I feel like maybe like the contrast is can be a good thing because it can be like a surprising element when you get on. Like,
yeah,
oh, when they look at you, it's like, huh, maybe he doesn't look that fierce. But when you
yeah.
get on the carpet, you can sort of have a surprise for everyone. Yeah.
So you're like the Incredible Hulk, right? So when you're not agitated, you still look okay. Then the
I,
moment, hey, I'm James. Yeah, I think this surprise element is really pretty good, because
yeah.
the judges always like to expect the unexpected,
Mm.
right? So I think this
Yeah,
would be a plus point for you. Okay, so how do you get into that mood, like during comms?
during competitions?
Yeah. So how do you get into the
Oh,
very aggressive mood? Or basically you had this inner beast in you that is always there.
well, I think as like a wushu athlete, everyone
Mhm.
would know like performance is a
Yeah.
really important attribute because
Yep.
we have three components for wushu, right? So it's like
Yeah.
difficulty, technique, and
Mhm.
performance.
Yeah.
So I feel like everyone really has their own way to deal with the performance attribute.
Mhm. Okay.
And I feel like for me, it's more like a do or die mentality.
Okay.
Uh, like, um, all I think is, oh, I only have one shot at this, and then I just sort of like, oh, lose control. Yeah, so that's sort of what goes on in my mind
Mm.
during competitions, and as long
Okay.
as you get more and more experience
Mm.
on like in competitions, it comes to you naturally, I think. Yeah.
So it really comes with experience and practice. All right.
Yeah.
So at what age did you enter the national team?
I was 12 when I
No.
first entered. Yeah.
Okay. So were you like prepared? Did you train to get in, or you were just like shortlisted unexpectedly?
Oh no, I went through a selection
Oh,
process.
okay.
So yeah, each year, our Wushu team would have like a selection that's open
Okay.
to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you just have to sign up and like show up and do
Okay.
whatever they ask you to do, and then they'll see whether you have the potential to enter
Mm.
the national team.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I actually had two trials. So I
Oh,
actually went for selection in 2011, and then the selection also consisted of like multiple rounds, so maybe three
mm-hmm.
or four.
Okay.
And I didn't make it in the final round in 2011. So I
Mm.
tried again in 2012, and
Okay.
I made it in 2012. Yeah,
Okay. So
luckily.
it was your goal, right, to get into the national team.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Because at that time, I've been competing in local competitions for like a few years already, like maybe
Yep.
three or four. And
Mm-hmm.
then I feel like I've stayed at like the same level for a while, so I really wanted to try to bring my abilities to the next level. And I thought that to do that, I would have to try to get into the representative team. Yeah,
Okay. So it's like a motivation for you to have a breakthrough, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So how was the training how was the training different for you in the national team as compared to your regular training? Or it's
It's
about the
very,
same?
very different. Yeah. I guess the major difference is when you train non-professionally,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of the teachers or coaches would get you to like practice the routine more due
Mm-hmm.
to like limited time. And basically the routine is what you do for performances or
Yep.
competitions. And also the training hours is maybe just 1 hour or an hour and a half, like in 2 days a week or once a week, right?
Yeah.
But when you train professionally, you would be training probably 6 days a week,
Yeah.
and each training session may be like 2 hours or 2.5 hours. So the coaches would really put emphasis on like the basics, like your
Mm-hmm.
flexibility, your kicks, your stances. So it was a lot of basic training
Mm-hmm.
in the professional team, yeah, as
Mm.
compared to non-professional.
Okay. So when was the first time you represented Hong Kong for comps?
First time was 2015, and
Okay.
I went to Iran for one of
Okay.
the local competitions there. I
Mm-hmm.
believe it was called the Pars Cup, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And yeah, that was 2015. Um, yeah, that was my first time. Yeah.
Okay. So how was the experience then?
Ah, it was overall it was a great experience.
Okay.
But basically, I went to compete with the 规定套路. How do you say that in
Okay.
English?
The
Uh,
compulsory routine,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was practicing the third set, like the 第三套.
Okay.
So that was when I first moved into like training my difficulty movements,
Mm.
like 540s and 360s.
Okay.
And basically, that competition was actually an like elite competition, so it was for like adults.
Yep.
But my coach sent me for me to like gain more experience.
Mm-hmm.
So going in, I already knew that I wouldn't really have a chance to like get any good results because
Yep.
you know the compulsory set doesn't add up to 2 points for difficulty moves, right?
Yes.
So my mind was just to really try to gain experience and hopefully do my own routine properly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really good experience because first of all, I never would have thought I would compete in such a far place from Hong Kong,
Yeah.
like in Iran.
Yep.
And it was also quite overwhelming because like all my competitors were like really top tier athletes.
Mm.
And like I went after, if all of you know, you probably know the top tier Nanshan athlete, Farshad Aradi from
Yeah.
Iran.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah, he's
he's
good.
like
He's good.
Southeast Asian medalist, world
Yeah,
champion. And then I
yeah.
was like 15 years old and I went after him. So it was also quite overwhelming and nerve-wracking, but overall it was a good experience. Yeah, it was a
Okay.
lot of fun.
All right. So, what was it? Which competition was the first one that you attained a medal for Hong Kong?
Ah, I believe it was the ninth Asian Junior Wushu
Okay.
Championships. So that was in 2017,
Okay.
and I got a silver medal for an Andao. Yeah.
Hmm. And you also get medals for other events as well, right? The team
Yes.
event, right?
Also for the dual event and
Mm-hmm.
the group event. Yeah.
Okay. So, which medal do you find the most valuable among these three?
Wow. Wow. That's a really, really tough question.
Yeah.
I feel like overall it was a really fulfilling achievement because
Yeah.
it was my first junior competition
Yeah.
and I was able to get like all three medals. So like
Mm-hmm.
bronze, silver, and gold. I thought
Yeah.
that was quite fulfilling, right?
Yeah. The
Because
whole
some
set.
people they get like three gold medals, but
But they don't have the silver and the
it's
bronze,
just the
right?
same color. Yeah, so I think they're all valuable in different ways
Yeah.
because like the individual medal really shows that I have like really reached my full potential when it comes
Mm.
to junior competitions and shows that my hard work has paid off.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the group event was also quite valuable because
Mm.
our whole team actually flew to Chongqing just to get this routine right and just to practice
Wow.
this. Yeah,
Okay.
so it was quite demanding as well.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, we spent like a month there, and it was pretty tough as well. And we were all quite happy that it went well. Yeah.
Mm. Great. Awesome. Okay. So, what are the challenges faced as an athlete, especially in Hong Kong,
As
right?
an as an
Yeah.
athlete,
Yeah.
um, I think the tough thing in Hong Kong is that it's pretty well known around the world that the academics in Hong Kong is quite
Demanding.
fierce in terms of
Yeah.
competition for like public exams and
Yep.
university
Yep.
admissions. So
Mm.
a lot of athletes, I believe, struggle between balancing the workload for training and academic work. And yeah, it's quite tough because I've been through the process as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I've seen a lot of successful student athletes. So it's not impossible. It's just whether you have the determination and the commitment to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
All right. Okay. So basically, I understand from Hong Kong there is the full time and part time athlete, right? So for
yes.
yourself, which one do you fall under?
So
Under the
I'm
part
a
time or
part-time athlete.
athlete? So are there any differences between these two? Yeah.
Yeah, there are major differences.
Okay.
I think the most major difference is like the amount of training.
Mm-hmm.
Part-time athletes only have one training session a day, so
Okay.
that's 2.5 hours. And
Mm-hmm.
full-time athletes have two sessions a day, which
Okay.
is adds up to 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And additionally, full-time athletes get to live at the sports institute, so they actually have
Okay.
dorms there so that they can stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I think as a full-time athlete, you also have a limited amount of time where you can go to school as well, so it
Oh,
shortens
okay.
your academics. So
Mm-hmm.
it really depends on what you want. There's definitely a trade-off for both options.
Yep.
And yeah, ultimately it depends on what you want. Either you want to go full pro or like part-time like me.
Mm.
But at the same time, sometimes even when I'm like on holiday or like when I'm preparing for an upcoming competition,
Yep.
my coach would also like get me to like train two sessions a day.
Mm.
So yeah, I've also like sort of experienced what it's like as a full-time
Mm.
athlete. And yeah, it's definitely tough because
Mm-hmm.
you have to train 5 hours, but that's what it's like as a professional athlete, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel that the any okay, do you feel that part-time athletes are undervalued compared to full-time athletes?
Undervalued.
Yeah. So do you think they actually value the full-timers more as compared to you being a part-time?
Mm,
Hmm.
I don't think any coach would undervalue their athletes. It just
Okay.
really depends on like how much determination you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, if you manage to put the same amount of effort in 2.5 hours compared to like 5 hours,
Mm-hmm.
then obviously your coach would like value you. And then if you, as long as
Mm.
you show that you have like the skill set, the ability to like go to competitions, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure, yeah, coaches would still value you.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think there's any differences when it comes to different athletes. Yeah.
Mm. All right. Okay. So so we know that you are actually pretty proficient in Wing Chun also, right? So a question that we have is, so does the Hong Kong national team athletes taught traditional Wushu as well? Meaning, so do they have to like be proficient in a traditional Wushu, or it was more of an option for you to like pursue an additional style?
Like sometimes our coaches would organize like mini workshops where they
Okay.
invite traditional wushu coaches to come like teach us like some forms.
Mm-hmm.
But for Wing Chun, it was more of an option because
Okay.
when I first approached Wing Chun, I actually had like a minor knee problem. So
Okay.
actually, I couldn't really do any jumps or anything. So my
Okay.
coach recommended me to maybe go learn something that does not require as much jumping. So
Mm.
maybe a traditional martial art.
Okay.
So suggested Wing Chun as well because it's also one style for Southern fists. So
Okay.
probably I could add some moves into like my own routine after learning Wing Chun.
Mm. Okay.
So yeah, that's how I first approached Wing Chun.
Okay, so was it tough for you when you first had your first engagement with Wing Chun?
Yes, because I was signed up for a competition for Wing Chun,
Okay.
and then basically I had to learn the routines like in a rush, and I
Mm-hmm.
also did not have a dedicated teacher for me to learn Wing Chun. So my
Okay.
coach only got me to learn it online by myself. Yeah. So, so I wasn't like sure whether my moves are correct or
Mm-hmm.
anything, but I just had to go with what I had.
Okay.
But in the end, our coach still invited some professional Wing Chun coach to come like teach us again. So
Mm.
after that, I basically adjusted what I learned already to make it correct. Yeah.
So did you choose to go for the Wing Chun competition, or it was a decision made by your coaches?
Um, because like each year we have to compete
No.
in a competition, but that year
Okay.
because of my knee issue, I didn't really participate in any competition. So
Okay.
the option was to go to that, and yeah,
Okay.
that's why that decision was made.
Okay. So it was so it is like a requirement for the national team athlete to participate in a international competition.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So this is to make sure that everybody, keep their training consistent and make sure they're always on the ball and seek improvement.
Yeah.
And you did pretty good, because some of the countries, I understand that some of the athletes, because the team is pretty big, right? So some of the
Yeah.
athletes will not have that opportunity to represent the country because probably they only place certain emphasis on the major comps. So the second tier or the third tier athletes may not have such opportunity. So this would be a pretty good arrangement by the national team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you would have a choice again, okay, do you think you would choose this path as an athlete?
That's a really tough question.
Yeah.
I think definitely yes, because overall the entire journey is really enjoyable. I've learned a lot, and I've
Mm.
also gained a lot
Yep.
through the experience.
Mm.
But yeah, I probably would have definitely changed a few things, obviously. But yeah, I'll definitely do it again. No,
So
no
what?
doubt, no doubt.
What would you like to change?
Like probably like really work on my flexibility when I was younger.
No.
You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
because I only came to realize how important it was when I was like 13 or 14. But
Okay.
you know how it's always more beneficial when you get your like flexibility good
Yeah.
when you're like younger because it's like less painful. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's one of the things that I would change.
So for all the young athletes out there, if you're watching, okay, yeah, stretch more when you're young. All right, don't regret it.
Yeah.
It's really very important and it's really very useful if you're very flexible. All right, so
Mm.
please stretch no matter what. Okay, yeah, because nowadays, a lot of the youngsters or the younger kids, they find it very painful. So
Yeah.
they don't, yeah, they tend to give up or say, that, okay, I'm good at jumping, so maybe for the stretching, I just, yeah, 意思意思 lah, just do it like, yeah, for a short while. But it is really very important. Okay, so please take note. Okay, so today you'll be sharing some of the Wing Chun like demonstration for us, right?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. So probably can share a little bit more on what you're going to do later, so that yeah, our viewers can actually have a better understanding before following your demonstration. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show a bit of a Wing Chun routine called 小念头, and
Mm-hmm.
it's basically the most introductory routine that I'm pretty sure any Wing Chun teacher would teach first.
Mm-hmm.
But due to limited time, I'll probably only teach a bit of the form. I'll teach
Okay.
the second half of the form because it's
Okay.
more straightforward. Whereas
Mm.
the first half is more like um, it requires a lot more explanation because
Mm.
it
Okay.
really
Okay.
the essence of like Wing Chun. But
Mm.
I don't think I can teach that in in 20
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah,
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 understand. Because it will take quite a while to go in depth into the theory. Yeah, that's for the first part, right? Yeah, so that's why James today he actually took some time to really figure out what he can actually teach us, especially for those who do not have a Wing Chun background. Okay, so that it's easier for us to follow. Okay, if not, if he were to have another live session, 1 or 2 hours to explain the theory. Okay, yeah. So do you need like to make any arrangements in terms of the camera setup?
No, I just need to stand up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead. So for those of
Uh,
you who just joined us, yeah, you guys can actually yeah follow the demonstration by James.
okay.
Okay,
You
yeah,
still
can.
hear me?
Yeah, we can see you. Don't worry.
Okay. So for Wing Chun, you usually put your hands up here,
Okay.
whereas you don't usually learn that you put it here, but for Wing
Yes,
Chun, you
correct.
put it up.
Okay, so for
Okay.
the Bao Quan itself, it's actually higher compared to the normal Wushu.
So
Okay.
for this routine, you would always go for your left hand first,
Okay.
but you just repeat the same thing with your right hand later.
Okay. James, sorry, can you tip the camera a bit higher because we can't see your eyes. Yeah, so probably just tip a little bit higher. Okay, yeah. Then we can see your
Yeah.
handsome face. Okay, let's go.
All right. So the first move, left hand first, is
Okay.
a block,
Okay. Okay,
and
I
then
follow.
come back,
Okay. Okay.
and then a chop, and this is you go for like the neck
Okay.
of your opposition, yeah. And then
Okay.
repeat that again. So
Yeah.
block,
Block.
come back,
Alright.
and then push,
Okay. Are you doing
and
the
then
mirror image?
no, left hand first, left hand
Ah,
first.
okay. Left hand first. Left hand first. Okay, so it's the mirror
Then,
image. Alright. Okay.
and then you put your hand down,
Uh-huh.
and then you go circle,
Circle.
turn,
Turn.
come back.
Come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then same left hand block,
Block.
come back,
Come back.
chop,
Mm-hmm.
and lay your hand down,
Mm-hmm.
and then pull,
Pull.
turn,
Turn.
back.
Okay, so it's actually
Yeah.
the same thing, just that it's for the left hand and the right hand, right?
Yeah, the circle I think is a bit more complicated, but
Okay.
basically what it's like is you
Okay.
go in
In
circle.
circle.
Yeah, so in circle. Yeah.
In circle. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I'll
Okay,
do
so
that
for
one.
those viewers, you can actually follow James' demonstration. Okay, he's actually doing the mirror image, so you can just follow. All right, so it's the left hand now. Okay, turn in, turn and back to the chest. And 1, 2, to the neck, top, turn, turn and back. Okay.
Yeah. And then next segment, it's like a semicircle. So it's
Okay.
like
Okay.
so it goes like so it's a bit like in and then out.
In and
A bit
out.
like
Okay. In and out. In and out.
circle,
Uh-huh.
block. Well,
Block
you
below.
can't see.
Yeah. Okay.
Block,
Block below. Okay. Up.
circle again.
Circle again. And push. Okay.
Then put your hand out again.
Uh-huh.
Circle,
Circle.
turn,
Turn.
back.
Come back.
And
Okay.
repeat with your hand.
Okay.
Second
So,
circle,
circle.
block,
Block bottom.
raise your hand.
And
Circle,
turn circle. And push. Okay. Got it. And turn. Turn. Turn and back. Okay.
yeah. So that's a bit more complicated, but
Yeah.
this last push, you
Yep.
would go for the base of
Okay.
your opposition.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the circle is okay. So here,
Yep.
it's again in, out,
In,
and push.
out, and push. Okay.
And
All right.
next segment, it's like
Okay.
so
Turn
this
inwards,
is like
right?
it's like a twist,
Twist. Okay. Yep.
and then turn your hand back down. Like
Uh-huh.
here, just your elbow comes down. That's
Oh.
what it's like. So don't
Okay.
force. Just elbow come
Okay.
down
All right.
and push.
And push. Okay. Turn.
Yeah.
Turn back and back to the chest. Okay.
Walk,
So repeat the same thing. Turn.
turn,
Uh-huh. And push. Ta-da. Ta. Back.
yeah. So the push
Okay.
is you actually go for the
Chin.
The chin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually pretty
And-
brutal, right? The steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, the application itself.
And last thing is hand
Uh-huh.
and
Okay. And who?
you sort of slice your own hand.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a block, is
How
it?
it works is if someone grabs onto your hand,
Uh-huh.
then you can like slice it off.
Oh, slice.
Get
Okay.
it? Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Slice
Uh-huh.
the two slices.
Okay.
So you go left hand first,
Okay.
right hand, left hand, and then your right hand turns into like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then 1,
Mm-hmm.
2,
2.
3.
Oh, this is the classic move, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
you're gonna be
then
Yip Man soon. Okay. Turn and back. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like the second half of the 想念头 routine.
Okay.
And I think if you want to have a look at the full routine, you can get on my IGTV. I have
okay.
a footage of the 想念头 form that I did in a competition. And maybe I think you can learn it just by following that video, because maybe just set it in slow-mo and then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll explain some of the fundamentals of Wing Chun.
Okay,
so
sure.
for Wing Chun, you always have to remember to keep your shoulders level. So you cannot let your shoulder move out.
Oh, okay.
So every move, your shoulder stays the same. And
okay. So there's no extension of the shoulders, right? So you just
no
stay
extension.
at the...
You know, like arm trend, you would always extend.
Yeah,
No, Wing Chun is just the movement of your hand without your shoulder.
Okay.
And then also at the same time, you always have to keep your elbow down.
Uh-huh.
So like, even like these moves, you always see my elbow down. Like you can always just like put it out like this.
Yeah.
Even if it's straight, but
Okay.
you should always keep your elbow down. Why?
Okay.
Because if you keep it straight, it's really easy for people to snap your hand. Also, when you
Mm.
keep it down, it's
Okay.
like it's like a safeguard. Whereas if you keep
Okay.
it like this, it's really easy for people to grab your hand. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay.
even when it comes to like moves like these, you
Yep.
really want to keep it
Keep it
down.
down. Okay.
Yeah. Even if you do this, then
Then they will push
you
back, right?
know,
Yeah.
yeah. And you also have to keep it quick. So once you block, you
Yes.
come
Oh
back
my
and
God, so
then you
nice.
strike.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay.
Also, these are only like the introductory moves. So
Yeah.
actually, I think this is the what's special about like traditional
Yeah.
versus contemporary. Like
Mm-hmm.
traditional is like always more applicable to like
Yes.
fighting.
Yeah.
Because the teachers would always emphasize on, oh, what this move does, what
Yeah.
how to block, how to strike.
Mm-hmm.
But where we do contemporary stuff, it's
Mm-hmm.
more likely that coaches would emphasize on like whether your moves are accurate, correct,
Mm-hmm.
whether you do it quick or not, and
Mm.
there really isn't any focus on the application of the moves. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one major difference. And I think
Okay.
it's beneficial to learn some traditional routines as
Mm.
well, even if you're a contemporary athlete,
Yes.
because
Yes.
when you learn traditional routines, you can like always pick out like the moves, like the essence of the routine, and
Yep.
apply it to your own optional routine, which
Yeah.
is also great.
Mm.
So there are a lot of benefits when it
Yeah.
comes to learning traditional stuff.
Yeah. So it's not just about a focusing on Nantu, right? Because especially in the
Yeah, yeah.
freestyle routine nowadays, everybody is doing Nantu here, Nantu there. Yeah, there's a lot of emphasis on that. And then a lot of the seniors, right, or the Wushu seniors, the elders would say that, oh, this is no longer a Wushu because it's more like
Yeah, yeah.
acrobats. Yeah. So this is where we go back to the origins of Wushu, the traditional
Mhm,
component, to really learn and understand the applications, and then we
mhm.
apply those applications to our freestyle routine. This would actually bring back the meaning of Wushu in the freestyle performance. Okay, so I
Yeah,
think this is really a very good a demonstration, and it's a very good point that yeah, you actually push all the negative feedback that a lot of people have, saying that, oh, Wushu is no longer a martial art. It's more like a gymnastic or kind of performing
yeah,
a
yeah.
sport. Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who missed the earlier part of the Wing Chun demonstration by James, don't worry, because we will also upload this entire video that we had today onto IGTV, so you guys can actually watch it. Okay, so James, we have a request. Can you actually do a demonstration of how the speed should be like
How
for
the
the
speed?
yeah, should be like when for the part that you actually just showed us.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so this is sort of like the okay. I'll just explain this whole thing.
Okay.
uh,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the first half of the routine is more like practicing the strength of your elbow because it's a
Okay.
lot of like pushing, but it's like really slow. Like you really need to
Mm-hmm.
put on like here your elbow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all like really slow stuff. That's why I
Okay.
didn't want to teach you guys because it's like a bit too slow and it's a bit too complex to teach. But
Okay.
like the later half is really where you go fast because it's really
Mm-hmm.
where you learn the blocks and the hits.
Okay.
So
The
like
applications,
for
right?
example, what I taught would be like
Wow. Nice. Okay. Oh my God, it's getting faster and faster. Yeah.
yeah.
So this is how the speed is supposed to be. Okay, because we
Yeah,
actually had a comment that, oh, it looks a bit like Tai Chi in terms of the speed. I didn't know.
yeah.
Basically, because he's demonstrating, so that's why his movement is slow. So just now, the demonstration that he did is really the recommended speed of how it's
Hmm.
being executed. Okay, it's not just a slow mo. It's actually very complex. And when you
Yeah.
see the way he exert the force, it's really quite quite cool. As in, it
It,
feels
it
like I'm
has to
like
be it's like a bit the fajing of Tai
Jing,
Chi that
right?
they
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. It's a bit like
Right,
that.
right.
And then
Mm,
like the flow of Wing Chun, it's
yes.
like it's just a bit like going in circles. It's a bit like circles.
Yeah.
So even when you like really apply, like
Uh-huh.
you can do a lot of things with it. Like
Okay.
it really depends on what you want to do. Like
Okay.
after a block, like
Uh-huh.
you can hit his face, or
Mm.
a block snap his arm, or block hit his face. You know, block.
Ah, okay.
It really depends on what you want, but it's just the flow is a bit like just a sort. Yeah.
Okay, so this is also why the movement is very fast because it's just confined within this space, right? So it's really quite
Yeah.
straight to the point. Yeah. So this is also the when you see James move his hands, you can actually imagine there's a movement zhuang in front. Right? As in the way, yeah, the way you attack. Yeah, so this is really the application of Wing Chun. Yeah, so this is really, really pretty cool. Okay, so you mentioned that learning this traditional component, you have actually applied this into your freestyle routine, right?
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
do you actually incorporate this into the routine itself?
I feel like when you learn traditional stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
first thing you think of is it looks really like robotic because it's like one move, second move, third
Yeah.
move. Yeah, yeah. But it's like really clear. Like each move, you know what it does, what it looks
Mm,
like. But when it
okay.
comes to like putting it into your own routine, you
Yep.
can sort of like speed it up and just like add add like a really quick sequence or like a combination of moves. Like so, for example, one part of my optional routine is basically a bit of what I taught you. It's
Uh-huh.
like, but I basically added my right hand as well because the
Mm,
form I taught was the basics. So you
yep.
only like learn
The it.
how to apply one hand, but
Yes.
usually you always have two hands going in.
Correct.
So for my routine, what I added is like this. Yeah.
What,
So
can
maybe
you do
that's
it?
what I added.
It's very fun. Can you do it again? It's
I
very,
do it
very
again.
cool. Yeah, it's so
So
nice. As in, yeah, it's
what I
impressive.
did is block,
Okay.
hit,
Uh-huh.
block,
Okay.
hit, block,
Uh-huh.
hit, hit. So that's what I
Okay.
added into my routine. And
Okay,
then
then
basically what I taught already is just
yep.
like this and like the punching. But once I
Yeah.
add it together, it's just yeah.
Ah. Hey, very impressive. No, very cool. Yeah, you know when you do it slow, it look like okay, like the 大师. Then the moment you speed up, it's like wow.
Yeah.
It's really very impressive. Okay, so for those who have just joined us, so what James is doing is really to share a bit more on his Wing Chun, as well as how he incorporate the traditional Wushu style into his current modern optional routine. Okay, so this is actually the demonstration by him. Okay, and we have a question: how can you do so fast? Is there
I
any tips or any way that you actually apply?
think it's practicing, and at the same time, you really need to relax your hands. As I said again, like
Mm,
you really cannot move your shoulders. So this
okay.
part is
Yeah.
always relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always the movement of your elbow and like
Yeah.
your wrists. It's a bit
Okay.
like that. And then you
Mm-hmm.
can always just practice it more like multiple times.
Mm.
Like so once you put
Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, it's really very impressive. So really, it really takes practice, and for traditional itself, it's not really about brute force, right? Yeah, because I think
yeah.
some of the misconception that some of the athletes have, oh, they look at the athlete, oh, they look so strong, they look so powerful, but it's not really about the brute force. You really need to use the energy from the waist and different momentums from the different part of the body to really make the movement look good. Okay, so it's not just brute force. Okay, this is a common misconception that I realize that when they
Yeah.
see those athletes being so powerful, and then they try to imitate them, but they will just use brute
Yeah.
force.
Like what sometimes when athletes try to focus too much on like exerting like power and
Yeah,
like explosiveness,
yeah.
like they would look really stiff. But that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes is like that contradicts like the essence of like some of our martial arts,
Mm,
right?
yep.
Like sometimes you really need to show how it can like flow and how it relax
Yep.
your shoulder while you're trying to present your moves.
Mm,
So that's something that's also beneficial when you learn traditional routines,
yep.
right? Because you would know more behind um, what each move does and how it should be executed. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question. So how long do you practice a day?
So because I'm a part-time athlete,
Yeah.
my training sessions last for 2.5 hours, and
Okay.
that is from Monday through Saturday. But
Mm.
sometimes when I'm on holiday or when I'm about to have a competition, my coach would get me to maybe train 2 sessions a day. So that would be
Mm-hmm.
like 5 hours a day. Yeah.
Okay, so what about this period whereby you're stuck at home? So how much do you
Right
actually
now,
dedicate time for training?
yeah, I try to do what I can at home. Like for example,
Mm-hmm.
I have like a stationary bike at home, so I just
Cycle.
try to use that, yeah, to keep fit, and then I try to work on my flexibility, like
Mm-hmm.
uh, basics, which does not require too much space to
Okay.
do. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to do right now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Meanwhile, for those who just joined us, you can keep your questions coming. Okay, so that we can actually get James to answer your question. Okay. So we also have a question that mentioned that what are your hobbies beside Wushu?
Wow, I have a lot.
Okay.
I like football. I'm a huge football fan. I also like playing football a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get the opportunity to play, like even with some of my Wushu teammates, we always go and play football.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have an interest in video editing. I do that quite
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and I've also
Yeah.
done it for other people.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can check it out. It's like on my page, some of my
Yep.
productions.
Yeah.
Uh, Also like dancing. I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy watching dancing. I've tried
Uh,
it. I'm not that good at
so you
it.
enjoy
So
watching but
maybe,
not dancing lah.
yeah, yeah. It's really hard. I feel like I'm too stiff.
Mm.
I can't do it. Uh, so maybe when I have extra time, maybe I'll try more of that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So talking about the video editing, because I actually saw
Mhm.
some of your videos before. So it's really quite cool. Why is it cool? Because James actually applied the things he learned in Wushu to do like a short action trailer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what is the tough part about filming this action like moves?
Mm, because I'm not like a pro, so
Yeah.
when I do it with my friends, we usually make up the moves on set. Like
Oh, okay.
we don't do it
Okay.
prior to that. You know,
Mm.
if people do it professionally, they would have like the choreo done probably a
Mm.
month prior to shooting, and they've practiced it like
Yeah.
maybe like 100 times or something.
Mm-hmm.
But we just do it like on the spot. We think of like a
Okay.
few moves, and then we
Mm-hmm.
practice it 1 or 2 times. Then we film it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's also tough to find the good camera angle to like capture
Mm.
the highlights of the choreography. So
Mm.
that's one
Yeah.
tricky thing.
Okay.
And uh, yeah, I think editing, when it comes to editing, the tough thing is um, if you're only editing someone's footage,
Yeah.
it's really annoying because if you take your own footage, you would
Yeah.
already know what you would want when you're editing.
Because the moves,
Yeah,
right? You already
so
know what are the
that's it.
angles. Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a bit annoying when people like throw you footage and they ask you to do certain things, but it just look when you look at it, it just doesn't look right. But you have to do what they ask you to do because it's their film or whatever.
Mm.
So that's something that's funny
Yeah.
about editing. Yeah.
Mm. So we also see that you also help some of your teammates film videos and they posted on their
Yeah.
IG, right? Yeah, because I
Yeah.
happened to scroll and I see, oh, a video by then James. Yeah, so
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
experience like?
I feel like it's really nice to apply like
Mm-hmm.
technology with Wushu because
Mm-hmm.
we can always like repackage the
Yes.
image of Wushu like oh, Wushu can be cool as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah, when people think of like kung fu or whatever, it's like more like dated, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, when I do editing, I'm trying to like prove a point that like Wushu can be brought to the next level as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next question is how long do you take to learn a complete form?
A complete form?
Yeah, that means a complete routine. That means let's say you were asked to learn a new
Oh,
routine. So usually how fast or how long do you take?
For compulsory routines, because you always like see like your teammates or your seniors doing it already, so you sort
Yeah.
of have like an image of like how the whole routine looks like. So when you
Mm-hmm.
learn those like really quick, maybe an hour or
Okay.
two. But
Okay.
if it's something like brand new, like for example Wing Chun for me when it was brand new, it took
Mm-hmm.
me like a couple of days to like get it right and like to
Yeah.
learn the whole routine. Yeah.
And I also believe that this learning itself, it has many levels to it, right? Because you can just learn the form, but if you go deeper, it will be the details and then the expression. Yeah, so it
Yeah.
really depends on to what extent you want to learn the form. Okay, so
Mm.
we actually have the next question. So who are your favorite stars?
Action stars, I think Donnie Yen probably
Okay,
is on top of my list.
okay.
I feel like he provides a lot of like variety. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know he's like the most well known for like his Ip Man series, but
Yes.
like aside from Wing Chun, I feel like he can do a lot. Like in
Hmm.
terms of when he does an action movie, and like why he's my favorite is probably like there are a lot of good like stuntmen or a lot of good action performers, but what's
Yes.
special about Donnie Yen is like he has really memorable performances like
Mm.
from movies. Like for
Mm.
example, like the 1v10 in like Ip Man 1 or
Yeah.
like the um, his fight against like the stormtroopers in Star Wars. Like you would always like remember like what he does.
Very
Whereas like
classic.
yeah, like some that really good action stars where you just say, oh,
Mm.
they're good, but you can't really recall like something specific.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So I think
Mm.
that's something that wushu athletes can pay attention to. Like
Mm.
you should really try to have a routine to like maybe capture the um, impressions and the
Mm.
of like judges and of audience members. Like once they think about you, they would be like, "Oh, I remember which
Under this.
routine you did." Maybe that would be
Mm.
like beneficial as well. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is other than action stars, so are there any like favorite pop stars, soccer stars, or idol that you have?
Pop stars. When I first started listening to music, my favorite
Yeah.
pop star was Bruno Mars.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so and then lately, I think it's the Chinese pop star
Mm.
Zhang Yixi.
Ah,
Uh,
okay.
I think I really like his work ethic
Mm-hmm.
because he's like super hardworking as well, and I really want to like be the same as well. Like,
Mm.
um, he's always wanting to prove a point, like because people think that his ability isn't as good as what people think, but like he's
Mm-hmm.
always like taking the extra mile to like prove people wrong. And I feel like
Mm.
everyone should have that mentality as well, even when it comes to like practicing wushu. Like,
Mm.
yeah,
Okay, so that is his favorite pop star. Okay, Lay. Okay. All
yeah.
right. So the next question is so since he's your favorite like pop stars, right? So do you think you can show us some of your dance moves?
No, 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 no.
This is an instant rejection.
No, 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 no.
Okay, okay. Let's maintain his Wing Chun image, alright, okay? So for those of you who are keen to find out his dance, you just follow him on Instagram. Maybe one day he feel like dancing, he will just let you see it. Okay? Okay, so for self-defense, which is better? Okay, whether is it Wing Chun or Wushu?
Uh, I guess like because Wing Chun is a part of wushu, right? So I
Mm,
think the difference is between traditional and contemporary, I guess.
yeah.
But like when you learn traditional, there's definitely more emphasis on like
Mm,
how each move applies. So it's definitely um, traditional when it comes to
mm,
self-defense. Because
definitely.
wushu is like, as you said, it's more like a gymnastics routine where you like have
Yeah.
to perfect every move, like your
Mm-hmm.
difficulty.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely traditional when it comes to that.
Okay. Okay, I think we have a very interesting question. Okay, nothing to do with like Wushu, but I think it's more on a personal question. So maybe the ladies out there will want to know. So are you single?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Okay, so guys, ladies, if you want to get to know James, you can slide into his DM. Yeah, so after this, you can just yeah, DM him and maybe he will reply you. So do you reply to DMs? Just curious. I know you reply to mine, but what about people who you do not know?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, so I think this is a question that a lot of people want to know. Okay, but he's having his preparation for exams now, so please do not like disturb him too much. Right, so okay, that's a lot of LOL. Huh? Okay, so yeah, please control. Okay, I think probably we have like 2 more minutes. So before we end up, do you have anything that you would like to say to all the practitioners out there, or any last message you would like to share?
Last word. Um,
Not last words,
yeah.
but not last words are for those that who are living. So you are still here. So it's more on like yeah, a message or something to motivate the viewers out there.
I think when it comes to learning wushu, like
Mm-hmm.
maybe at the really beginning of like a professional career or something,
Mm-hmm.
like you would be really short-sighted. Like you would only
Yeah.
think, oh, my target is to get to like certain competitions and like
Mm-hmm.
get to certain placements for
Yeah.
competitions. But from my experience, I can tell you that you can definitely gain a lot more than just like competing and getting
Mm-hmm.
medals. So, like for those who think that, oh, it's really limited to what you can do,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really need to think that way because there are a lot of things you can apply from Wushu, such as like discipline, perseverance.
Yeah.
These are all attributes that people would really appreciate and respect,
Mm.
and it will bring a lot of good to you. So
Mm.
don't be too short-sighted when it comes to like um, what you're gonna do with like Wushu. But in the long term, it's definitely beneficial.
So it's
So
just to
don't give
keep
up.
it. Yeah, so we got to keep an open mind. Okay, you never know where
Yeah,
Wushu can take you. Okay, we have athletes who excel in Wushu and then they get opportunities to get like scholarship and
yeah,
different occupations
yeah.
opportunities. So yeah, so keep your mind open. Okay, so okay,
Hmm.
so before we end off, just a quick reminder that tomorrow we are actually having our fifth guest. Okay, she's Ho Ling Ying from Singapore. She's also a world champion. Okay, she was actually very young when she was a world champion. She was only 13. Okay, so yeah, and then a lot of you have mentioned that you would like to have a tips on improving your flexibility. So, being a Tai Chi expert, okay, Ling Ying will be sharing some of the exercises to improve your flexibility. So maybe James, you want to improve your flexibility, right?
I
You
need
can
it.
join
I
us
need. I
tomorrow.
need.
Okay, so once again, thank you, James, for joining us in this episode of
Thank
Wushu
you for
Stars Connect,
having me.
and see you soon. All right, all the best for your studies. All
Okay.
right, see you.